I used to think the hardest thing in life was making ends meet. But I was wrong, because nothing, and I mean nothing, prepared me for the night the police came to my door, dragged my husband away in handcuffs, and left me standing there, holding our 2 children, their questions echoing in the hallway. And that night, that was only the beginning. This is the story of how I lost everything and fought harder than I ever knew I could to get it all back. For my kids, for myself, for the truth. It was a Thursday evening. Dinner was on the stove, homework scattered on the table, and my youngest was coloring on the wall again. A normal night, a warm night, a night I thought I'd forget in a week. Then, a pounding on the door. Not a knock, a threat. Police lights flooded the windows. My husband froze. He whispered, "Take the kids upstairs, don't come down." But I didn't have time. The door burst open. Officers poured in, guns raised, voices shouting, my children screamed, and while I held them, my husband was dragged into the hallway, cuffed, silent, expressionless, like he already knew this moment was coming. I didn't. I had no idea. They said words like fraud, embezzlement, falsified documents. I didn't understand any of it. Not then, not yet. The house was quiet after they took him. Too quiet, like something had been ripped out of the walls. My son kept asking, "Where's Dad? Why did they take him?" My daughter asked, "Did Daddy do something bad?" And I had no answers, only fear. The next morning, bills were still due. Rent was still due. Lunches still needed packing. Life didn't care that my husband was gone. I checked our bank account. It was frozen. All of it. Every dollar we had. The world expected me to carry everything with nothing. So I wiped my tears, packed my kids' bags, and walked them to school like nothing happened. Because mothers don't collapse. We break quietly, then keep moving. I took the first job I could get. A cashier shift at a grocery store. Then another, cleaning offices at night. Then another, folding clothes at a discount store on weekends. I slept 3 hours a night, on good nights, but every paycheck, every dollar, went to keeping my kids fed, clothed, safe. I didn't care what anyone thought. I didn't care how tired I was. I was fighting for my family alone. My son stopped talking as much. He stared at the door every night, waiting for a father who wasn't coming home. My daughter started wetting the bed again. Nightmares, fear, silence. I tried to be strong for them, but the truth. I cried in the bathroom every night, hand over my mouth so they wouldn't hear. I attended every hearing, every trial session. I sat behind him, hoping he'd look back. He never did. The prosecutor painted him as a monster, a cold, calculated thief. And the evidence? It was bad, really bad. Documents, witnesses, statements. I wanted to believe he was innocent, but even I began to doubt. When the judge said guilty, my son shattered. My daughter screamed, and I felt the world tilt. No one wanted to hire the wife of a convicted man. Landlords rejected us. Friends stopped calling. Parents whispered at school. I was alone on an island with 2 children and a storm overhead. So I adapted. I learned to stretch $1 until it bled. I learned to fix appliances from YouTube tutorials. I learned to pretend I wasn't drowning. That's what mothers do. We survive even when no one is watching. 6 months after his conviction, I received a letter from my husband. Inside was a single sentence. I didn't do it. They made me confess. At first, I tore it up. I didn't want false hope. But that night, something bothered me. Who is they? I began digging. Old emails, financial records, files on our broken laptop. Things didn't add up. There were numbers he never touched, transactions he never made, documents altered long after he was arrested. Someone framed him. But who and why? I found a name, a coworker of his, someone who mysteriously resigned right before the investigation began, someone who suddenly bought a house far beyond his salary, someone who had access to all the files my husband was blamed for. My hand shook. I had proof, evidence, a way to help the father of my children. No lawyer believed me. No detective cared. No judge granted an appeal. So I went public, social media, local news, anyone who would listen. The pressure grew. Eyes turned toward the case. The coworker's name resurfaced, and then an anonymous message hit my inbox. Stop digging. You have children. I didn't stop, not for a second. A whistleblower stepped forward, someone inside the company, someone who knew everything. They leaked files, real ones, unedited ones. They proved my husband was framed to cover a multi-million-dollar crime, a crime committed by the same coworker I had found months earlier. The world changed overnight. My husband's conviction was overturned. He walked out of prison weighing 30 pounds less, eyes sunken, spirit broken, but free. The kids ran to him. He collapsed into their arms, and I didn't know what to feel. Relief, anger, pain, all of it. Freedom didn't fix everything. He had trauma, nightmares, silence, rage. We tried to rebuild, but some things don't go back to normal. Still, we faced it together because families don't break unless we let them. If motherhood taught me anything, it's this. You don't know how strong you are until strength is the only thing you have. I fought the world for my kids. I fought the system for my husband, and I fought myself to keep going when everything felt impossible. This wasn't a story about a crime. It was a story about a mother who refused to give up, a mother who became a warrior, a mother who saved her family when no one else would. If motherhood taught me anything, it's this. You don't know how strong you are until strength is the only thing you have. I fought the world for my kids. I fought the system for my husband, and I fought myself to keep going when everything felt impossible. This wasn't a story about a crime. It was a story about a mother who refused to give up, a mother who became a warrior, a mother who saved her family when no one else would. And if you felt something while listening to this, if this story touched you, please make sure to subscribe. It helps more than you know and lets me keep bringing stories like this to you.